Hello, hello, friends. All right. Just trying to straighten this out just a wee bit. That's about as good as it's gonna get. That's a little better. All right, if you guys are stopping by, drop a quick comment just to say hello and that I know that you're here with me. Hello, Julissa. Thanks for stopping by, friend. Happy New Year. And hello, Jilly. All right. I do want to preface with I did begin to start battling a cold yesterday. So this Facebook Live, my pace may be a little slower than usual. I may take a couple more water breaks than normal. I'm okay, I promise. I just am operating a little bit more slowly than what I'm used to. But we will get there, and we are going to have a wonderful Facebook Live. So hello, oh my goodness, hello everybody. Hello Lauren, and hello Joanne from Canada. Hello, hello. Hi Carletta. Hello, Dawn and Belinda. Lori is multitasking, Hockey, and Justin. Oh my goodness, I love it. Hello. Hello, Timothy. Cindy, hello. Oh, it's rainy in New York. It's like moderate here. We've had a lot of fog in the Chicagoland area over the past couple evenings. It's been very interesting. Hello, Elsie. Yes, hello, hello, Julissa. First live of the year. Absolutely. So excited to be here with you guys. Hello, Jen. Oh, and hello, Melissa. I will feel better soon. I usually get like this once, twice, 3 times a year. And honestly, this is probably one of the much more mild colds that I've had in a very long time. So I will take that. And hello, Lisa. All right, y'all. All right, so we're going to get into tonight's Facebook Live. We've got a really great group of people joining us. As you can see, it is our Hearts Galore week, and we are going to be recreating this really fun XOXO card that features some adorable skunks by Lawn Fawn. We're going to be doing some hot foil methods as well, so I'm going to show you how we're going to use hot foil for the background and also as a little bit of an accent for this flocked sentiment. So I'm going to start to get into things. If you guys have any questions, of course, just drop a comment. I will get to it as soon as I can. And then, of course, we do have a coordinating blog post for today's project, which has all the products that I'll be using listed out in case you guys are inspired to get your shop on. So we'll make sure to post that as well. Oh my goodness. Hello, everyone. Chili hot tea with lemon sounds wonderful. I'm probably going to be doing that later because that sounds marvelous. I've been caffeinated to the high heavens today. I had like 3 or 4 cups of coffee just because when I was at work, I just wanted to keep drinking something nice and warm. So, all right, let's get into it. And what we're going to start with is this background with a little bit of ink blending, and then we'll get into our foiling. So what we're going to go ahead to start with is I do have some distress heavy stock paper. And because I am working with 2 different types of paper, I did mark the backside with a D, so I knew that it was distress. And what we're gonna go ahead and do is this is just a 2-color blend. I've got Spun Sugar and I've got Kitsch Flamingo. And let's see. Dab off the excess. And then we're just gonna kind of blend in the center. Because I want it to fade to white. It's going to be Kitsch Flamingo at the very bottom, and then it is going to fade to the white, and I'm kind of doing it a little out of order, and that's okay. Now, this piece of cardstock that I'm blending up, like I said, it is distressed heavy stock. It's a little bigger than A2 sized, and that's because I don't trust myself to use my A2 cover die that I have to line it up perfectly for my card. So, all right, so we've got our Spun Sugar. Let's go in with some Kitsch Flamingo. Blend, blend, blend. We're going to be doing a little bit of ink splattering as well, which is honestly the main reason why I'm doing this first. I want to try to give this a nice amount of time to dry without having to introduce the heat set method. All right, we're gonna go in, blend that transition with the spun sugar. And by golly, I think we got it. All right, so we're gonna put these away for the time being. Let's catch up on a couple comments. Oh my goodness, so many wonderful people. We've got Mary here. We've got Karen. Hello, you both. We've got Antoinette from Ohio. Jen, I agree. Flocking is wonderful. Hello, Roberta. Always slightly up. I feel like some people might say it's wasteful, Lauren, but it's like, I just want my final project to turn out. So like, as you can see, I've got this Quilted Hearts backdrop in the portrait orientation by Fawn. And see, it's just slightly overhanging, just how I need it to be. So let's go ahead and grab some pixie tape. And see, and then if you have any imperfections, you can kind of like move it around a little bit for however you need it. I love it. I have no complaints. All right. I can probably salvage this piece. My pixie tape is like my precious. I always try to use as little as possible. All right. All right, I'm gonna secure it just like that. And then I'm gonna run this through my die cutting machine. It's gonna be off camera, which is A-okay. Water break. All right. Now this is one of those dies that punches a bunch of little holes, and I am one of the people who does not own one of those tools that makes it really easy to get all the little bits out. So you guys get to sit here with me while I get to start just poking things out with my tool, and that's okay. So let's go ahead and poke these out. Now, the reason I chose this quilted heart backdrop is because I thought it would be really fun to introduce like little foiled red hearts using our hot foil plate or hot foil foils. And I didn't want to have to put little hearts into each of these. So I was like, you know what? We're just going to use it as a background piece. I think we're good here. So, all right, so we've got all that. And then I'm just gonna go ahead. Like I said, I'm sorry you guys gotta bear with me through it. Maybe not the greatest die to use for a Facebook Live without one of those braying tools with the little spikes, but it's okay. You get to listen to me chit chat. But I thought it would be really fun to introduce hot foil as some background elements to this card to make the die elements really pop. So you're gonna see the hot foil in two places. You're gonna, why is this one being fickle? Maybe we just pop it out this way. You're gonna see the hot foil behind my cover plate die cut, and you're also gonna see it show up behind my word die cut, which I guess it's not really a word die cut, but it's XOXO. So we'll call it a phrase. My phrase die cut. See, this doesn't take too long. It was a little tedious though, I will tell you that much. I'm trying to get it all onto my die cutting mat as well because I'm trying to use it as like a catch-all for all of this. All right, ooh, I got that one right there. See, you see where I wrote the little D came until I wrote it there. Love it. All right, let's go ahead and clean this off. Do you keep all those little hearts for a shaker card? You know, Dom, that is a great idea. I do not do that. These will probably be getting pitched just because I don't know where I would store these for the time being, but I know that if I ever wanted to use them in the future, it would be really easy to get a bunch of little heart confetti pieces. That's a great idea. Worth the poking. I agree. The die is great. Julissa finds fun in the poking, unless I have to do those. A lot of those. Oh yeah, this would not be a very fun card to have to mass produce. I agree. Debbie, no, I personally am not on YouTube, but you can catch all of my Facebook Live replays on the ThermOWeb YouTube channel. So that's a great way to catch me along with the other members of the ThermOWeb fabric and paper team for some further inspiration. See, you could save those. See, Julissa says to save them too, and I just pitched them, but that's just me. I just have a lot of things on my desk right now, and I'm trying to keep it not cluttered. So I apologize about that. All right, I'm gonna grab a piece of copy paper, because I want to do my splattering onto it, just to kind of contain my mess. All right, so what we're gonna go ahead and do is I've got some Lumberjack Plaid. And I'm just gonna smush it on top of my acrylic block, just like that. And we're gonna wet it like that. And we're going to move all of my colored images way off to the side. All right, and then what we're gonna go ahead and do is we're gonna grab another acrylic block. I could just use one, but I have multiple. Just splatter it onto here, just to add a nice pop of color. Now, one little tip, when you're doing your ink splattering, and this may sound obvious, but if there are some of you like me, you know that sometimes it's nice to have a reminder. Make sure that your brush is clean before you use it. And what I mean more so is make sure if it's like you have an ink splattering brush, that you didn't use it to ink splatter another color before and you didn't clean it entirely, because that cross-contamination is gonna be a problem. Or at least it's not gonna give you that end result that you want. So I'm gonna make sure that I clean my brush off for later. And we'll clean this block really quick. See, you guys, there's a lot of things that I do during my Facebook Lives that are great points to like recycle. Like I just wiped up all of my ink that was on here. I could have totally like smudged it on some paper, but just for the sake of not making a further mess during my live, I just kind of clean it up. All right, we're gonna set that off to the side to dry. And while I'm cleaning everything up, I am going to turn on my hot plate off to the side. And we'll bring that over in a second. I'm gonna do a little bit of cleaning and answering some questions. Oh, using a toothbrush is a great idea. All right. Does putting a piece of wax between the paper and die make it make it easier? You know, I've never done that, Patricia. It may though. See, Christian saves them for embellishing. And hello, Kelly. Oh, Lauren, I don't even want to talk about the embellishments that I own because I just got so many new shaker packs and I'm just like, I don't know what I'm going to do with all these sequins. Let me tell you, we'll make lots of shaker cards, clearly. All right. Hello, Jessica. Thanks for stopping by. All right. And hello, Nicole. All right. So we're just cleaning this up a little bit. Now, what we're gonna go ahead and do is I do have my hot plate warming up, and we are gonna go ahead and put a solid hot foil plate right on top of it, just so it warms up, gets nice and warm. And we're gonna get some of our items prepped. So let me go ahead and go back to the card and show you. So there are two elements we're gonna hot foil. We're gonna start with this background, which uses the chili red. I keep wanting to call it chili pepper red. It is chili red hot foil, which is our hearts in the background. And then we're gonna use our silver Stardust to do a die cut of the XOXO sentiment. And it acts as a shadow for the XOXO and flock, which I think is a lot of fun. So we're gonna get into that in a second. Hello, Heather. There's so many shaker packs, so little time. It's so true. Like I just feel like I'm gonna have them forever. All right, water break. So, okay, so, all right, so this is my hammer mill paper that we're gonna be using for foiling. Perfect. And then I also need my die cut of my XOXO, which we'll use later. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and get my trimming tool out. Make sure I've got a piece of this chili red hot foil that's good to go. Let's see. That's pretty good. Trim that. And this will take a little bit to heat up. I probably could have done it in advance, and guess what? I didn't, but that's okay. That just means you guys get more chit-chat time with me. And let's go ahead, we'll cut our silver Stardust piece and set it off to the side. This one doesn't have to be as large. All right. Let's make sure this is nice and clean. silver Stardust. All right, what do you use to trim the foil? This is just like a fabric rotary trimmer, Heather. I saw Simon Hurley recommend that for cutting foil a handful of his videos ago, and it just kind of stuck with me. I'm like, you know what? This is what we're gonna do, and it works pretty flawlessly. I don't have too many issues using it. So that's what I recommend, is one of those rotary trimmers. And plus, I think you can get this on Amazon for like $10 or $15. It's not that much. It's got this really nice retractable blade. I love it. All right. Well, is it chili red and a hot foil? Oh, that's true. That is a hot chili red. There you go. It's like a double purpose meaning. All right, so we're going to go ahead and trim this. And while this is heating up, why don't we talk about the stamp set that I'm going to be using for tonight's live. Now, I did go ahead and color up some of these skunks, which is from the Lawn Fawn set. It's called Scent with Love. And it comes with a bunch of fun little skunks. And I know there was an add-on set. This was last year's Valentine's Day set. And it comes up with like 3 different individual skunks along with a hugging pair of skunks. And then you can embellish them with like a lacy Valentine, an envelope, a heart garland. And then it's got all these fun little like scent winds. I don't know what you call them, but like when you see cartoons of skunks and they start to stink and you see like the scent visibly rise off them, that's what you get as well. So this is the stamp set that I decided to use. I was able to color these up pretty easily with my Copic markers. I just used a small handful, same colors on these two of toner grays and then cool grays for the white, and then just introduced a lot of pinks and reds where I could. So this was a super, oh, it's a little off. I'm so sorry about that, you guys. But it's a super cute set and I'm excited to use it with you guys tonight. Can you use the foiling with a laminator? Kelly, you cannot use the hot foils with a laminator. You can use our regular foils, our foil transfer sheets from Deco Foil with a laminator as long as you're using it with a paste or one of our toner sheets. But the hot foil is not designed to be used with the laminator. Oh, the solid plate, Lauren, is so good. I'm having so much fun with it. So I'm glad you got one too. Christian, how many times do you heat up the flat plate? I've had a hit or miss on the solid plate. So this is what, okay, so Christian, that's a great question. I've watched a couple various videos out there, and one thing that I've heard people recommend with the solid hot foil plate is people recommend letting it heat up on the plate while it's preheating. So let me show you. So I've had it on while it's been heating up, not just when the green light comes on. So I left it on, I turned it on, put the hot foil plate on, let it heat up. So that's my first tip with the solid one, is go ahead, let it preheat with everything. And then what I do is, all right, we're gonna hope this is gonna work. All right, so we're gonna put that on. And then I like to also, see, I probably should have taped this, but that's okay. See, my big complaint about the solid plate is I need a stronger magnet to move it with. That's okay. All right, so I'm gonna press the timer, and then I'm gonna show you what my other suggestion is. And it's actually gonna relate more to like what your sandwich is. So we're gonna go ahead, we're gonna let this heat up. My timer's blinking. And it's not a foolproof method. I've still struggled a little bit with my solid hot foil plate, especially when I want it to be a full like for A2 size background. I have a lot better luck with like using smaller word die cuts. However, this is something that may be able to help. So let your plate preheat on the hot foil plate before you even have to worry about the timer. So like when you flip the switch to turn it on, put that plate on, let it start preheating. And then I'm going to show you the second thing, which usually helps a little bit as well. It's not perfect, but it does help. It's still blinking. Blink, blink, blink. I have a feeling it should be done soon. There we go. All right, next what I'm gonna go ahead and do is I'm actually gonna put a piece of copy paper on top for two reasons. One, I had a little bit of excess. That copy paper is going to protect my actual shims from getting foil on it like that. But I also think that that extra little bit of pressure is really gonna help as well. So we're gonna set that off to the side. Oh my gosh, I thought I lost my die cutting machine. All right. Let's go ahead and push this up just a little bit so you guys can see. All right, I'm gonna go ahead. All right. And I like to pass it through twice. So let it preheat extra long, shim, and let it go through twice. Those are my main suggestions, but it's not foolproof. See, I did get a little bit of that red on here, so that does help at least with cleaning that. All right, let's get our peel reveal. A little bit of a problem, but actually not too bad. It's not perfect, but it did pretty good. Aside from that, and that's probably a hair, I got a pretty good transfer by doing that. Also, too, you're gonna wanna make sure to use very smooth paper. So I have been using, oh my God, my packaging, you guys, is a mess, but it's the Hammer Mill Premium Color Copy Cover, and it's 100 pounds with 100 brightness level. So that has worked very well for me. All right, so we're gonna put this off to the side just for now. I'll trim that in a little bit. And now what I wanna go ahead and do is we're gonna repeat the process, but with our word die. So I've got the XOXO. I'm gonna put it, oh phooey, this is not helping me. I'm trying to be very careful. All right, press the timer. Cotton paper? No, if I said cotton, I'm very sorry. It's cover paper. I'll show you guys my package. Please don't judge me. This is a long used package of paper. It's the Hammer Mill Premium Color Copy Cover. La 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 la. That's what I've been using. It's 100 pounds and then 100 brightness. So that's what I use. I found it on Amazon. It works really nicely. It's a very smooth paper. I know some colorists even use this for their Copic markers because it's almost got like a plasticky finish to it. It works for me. I like it. I know some places recommend it. Did you run the hot plate through your die machine? I did run it through my die machine, yes. And hello, Sharon. All right, we're still blinking. And we're solid. All right, so I'm gonna push this off to the side and we're gonna take our die machine out again. And all right, so you do run your Glimmer hot plate once it's heated up. Oh, we gotta make sure to put my shim on, or my extra paper on there. So we're gonna just use another piece of scrap from my stash. All right. All right. Process this through. Do twice. All right. Put this away. And then, all right, so see, this is a great one to use that protective piece on. All right, so that silver Stardust transferred very nicely to my XOXO, just like that. All right, so let's go ahead and move this off to the side because I don't need my hot foil plate anymore. My gosh, you guys, my desk is a mess. That's okay. Oh, I'm gonna need a water break. That's all right. Okay, let's clean this up. Bear with me for a second while I get some water. second, you guys. All right. So now we just have a little bit more ink blending to do. Oh, you guys are so sweet. Thank you. And all right, let me grab my die cuts. So we've got our XOXO, and we're gonna do, I've got 2 stitched hearts and 1 other XOXO die cut from our pink Carnation flock. And so what we're gonna go ahead and do is, let's start with the XOXO. I'm gonna take some Lumberjack Plaid and a blending brush. We're just gonna blend the bottom. Just build up a very nice ombre so that pink from that pink Carnation blends into this Lumberjack Plaid. Just like that. All right, and that's a pretty good ombre. I'll take that. And then let's do a quick wipe down. And then we're gonna take a pink blending brush with our hearts, and this is picked raspberry. We're just gonna go ahead and blend. And isn't it amazing how when you introduce a different color, even though we're using the same color flock, we're getting an entirely different feel. Meaning we used a red on that XOXO, or a very, very red violet, however you want to look at it. And for this one, we're using much more of a pink, and it really takes a different form. All right, so we've got our 1 heart done. And our 2nd heart done. You know what, we could probably take this one in a little bit more. Flock is not technically a paper. Flock is almost like a velvet material, but it's on a piece of paper. So let's talk about flock for a second. So this is the pink Carnation flock, which I thought I set aside, but I guess I must have put it somewhere else, and that's a-okay. So we'll grab, here. This is just a pack of ruby red flock. I don't know where I threw my pink Carnation flock, but that's okay. And what it is it's like a velvet sheet that you're able to use for stenciling with our transfer gels. You're able to use it as die cutting, or you can stamp on top of it, or you can use your stencils or embossing folders to emboss it. So it's a really fun element to use in your projects to add some texture. So, all right, let's go ahead. Let's glue these the XOXO together. So let's see, I want it to be a little offset. So I always like to kind of map this out in advance. So I want it to be kind of offset like this. So I should probably, let's see, like this side. I'm not super heavy with the glue because I don't really need to be. I just want it to be a nice sort of shadow. All right, let's use our block. All right. I'm gonna go ahead and push this down. We've got our XOXO, so that I'm gonna actually go ahead and I'm gonna cut up some foam to put behind it, and we'll get to that in a little bit. This is gonna be a little tedious, so I can chat a little bit more with you guys. I love using our iCraft 3D foam because it really allows your projects to get a little extra dimension to it. I use it on almost anything that I want to be a focal image in my project. Get some of our 3D foam on it. And what I love about it is it comes in 2 different thicknesses. I'm using the 1/16 inch right now, but we also, if you want a little bit more lift or you want something that might be a little bit more ideal for a shaker card, we do offer it in the 1/8 of an inch as well, which is double this. In addition, we offer our iCraft 3D foam in 2 different colors. And these are in full rolls, nice big rolls. We offer it in black and white. So whatever your preference is with crafting, I have only used white up until this point, but I do have a roll of the black on order, so I'm sure you guys are gonna start seeing it in some more lives. And these rolls are gonna last you a very long time, especially if you are a 1/18 user like me. Those rolls just, oh my God, they last forever. All right. Perfect. All right, so we've got our XOXO, and now we can trim down our background. Now this was a little bigger than A2 sized. I made this 4.5 by 5 3/4. So I can trim this. Just like this. Perfect. And now I'm going to adhere my background. You know what though? I feel like this background is slightly smaller than A2 size. So I think I'm going to adhere it and then probably trim off some of the edge, and that's okay. So let's go ahead, use some UltraBond adhesive to this background. All right. I'm trying not to be too much glue with this. I know it's going to look like it is, but I just want to make sure everything stays in its place. I feel like this crisscross pattern is going to help that. All right, and then I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to grab this, my trusty, very handy, big old acrylic block, which I can use for some pressure. I'm glad you guys love the flocks because they are fantastic. And yes, this live will be uploaded to YouTube, so you guys will be able to watch it there. All right, just make sure this is nice and pressed down. Oh yes, Christian, with stars, gold stars, I would love that. Or like for graduation, if you wanted it to be like school colors, I love that as well. All right, let's go ahead. I'm gonna just make sure that my corners are trimmed appropriately. Perfect. Just nice trim edges. And see that splattering with the Lumberjack plaid? Oh, I love it. All right, so let's go ahead. I'm gonna put this onto a card base. So we're gonna go ahead and use that UltraBond, and then we can start putting everything together. Use my block again for some pressure. All right, Just making sure everything is getting nice and adhered. It applies a nice even pressure. If you need to do it for longer, you can put a little bit of weight on top of this and really let it start to sit, just to make sure it gets nice and flat. All right, so next we can go ahead and start adhering our elements. So let's go ahead and do our hearts. You know what, I should probably clean this first because now I'm seeing all of this ink that I haven't cleaned up. So that's a little problematic. Especially when you're working with white cardstock that you would like to stay white. Ink is not your friend. All right, perfect. So now let's go, I don't know why I put the cap on the lid. So let's go ahead and let's see. Kind of layer this like that. And we're gonna do this side. Layer that like this. Perfect. Just to get a nice overlapping effect. Move that up a little bit. That's why I love using liquid adhesive too, because it's permanent when it dries. But up until that point that it dries, it is fair game to move around, and I need that. All right. Let's trim this off. Just for some extra flocked hearts. And then we can go ahead and put our sentiment on. I'm gonna take off all these little bits, that's okay. I think there's probably like 20 pieces, no, probably more like 16 pieces on this XOXO alone. All right. I'm still sitting here laughing how everyone's like, oh, do you save those little hearts for shaker bits? And my first thought was like, I don't need any more shaker bits. But it's a great idea. It's really a great idea to stretch your stash. Here I am coming across like the non-environmentally friendly crafter, which is not the case. I try to use my scraps as much as I can. Just sometimes during a Facebook Live, my #1 concern is keeping my desk clean, because otherwise I cannot find things. Which is a problem all the time, but especially when you're trying to facilitate an event that you want everyone to be able to follow. All right, so let's do... It looks pretty decent to me. All right. So we got our XOXO right there. Hello, Christopher. Oh, and Utwana, I agree. And I apologize if it's Utana or Utana. I apologize if I mispronounced your name. But you need a good pair of big scissors to cut off those edges. Absolutely. All right, next we're gonna go ahead and grab our little skunks. And I've already got foam tape on the back of these. I've prepped this in advance, but it's still my favorite iCraft 3D foam tape. And these images were super easy to color up, did not take long at all, which is always helpful. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and put this little guy down here. And we take our other little guy, or girl. I know, I love the lawn fawn critters too, Judy. Oh, Jen, you're so sweet. Thank you so much, and thank you, Kristen. All right, so let's go ahead. Just like that. All right, we've got our 2 little skunks. And now we just need to put on some embellishments. So I've got some iridescent bubble embellishments, and these are from Studio Katia. They're absolutely my go-tos. Just kind of do them in clusters of 3. Make sure I'm getting all my sizes correct. Do one there, and then one down here, and then it's one here and here. All right. All right, y'all. Now, I did want to take this moment before we finish up that I wanted to let you guys know something super exciting. We do have a new release heading your way very soon. It is going to be a Deco foil release. So the paper education team is getting ready to make some really fun samples for you guys. So that'll be actually my next Facebook Live, I believe, is with our new release. I'm not going to tell you when. We're going to kind of sneak it on you guys, but it's soon, I promise. I think you guys are going to be really excited. Oh, you guys are so sweet. Oh my gosh, I missed all these wonderful comments. Oh my gosh, you guys are so wonderful. Thank you. Now I have a surprise for this too. And now it's like not a big thing, but as a crafter, and I can promise you it's in this one too. But I'm gonna, because we're letting it dry, I don't want it to be a problem, but when I was making this card, I really wanted to put a sentiment under the XOXO, and unfortunately, I loved my layout so much and didn't want to change it, so I couldn't fit a sentiment. So, when you open the card, it says this card is sent with love. But scent is spelt like a scent of something that smells, so I just thought that was a really fun extra design, and I'm going to prove to you guys it's here without causing too much of a disruption, but it's all stamped in advance, and I did go ahead and stamp this in that Lumberjack Plaid ink, so it pulls back to the color that we used on this and that we splattered, so everything stays nice and coordinated. So there you go. So we've got some really fun ways that you can use our new hot foils from Deco Foil to have some really fun background elements with your card, everybody. You guys are so wonderful. Don't forget there is a blog post for this for this card that we created that's got everything listed where you guys can buy all your goodies at. If you want to go ahead and use that post, that's absolutely wonderful. Oh, Belinda, that if you keep it forever, that's so sweet. Thank you guys. All right, sample swatch book. Do you mean a swatch book of the foils? I've done that before. I have my swatch book of foils. All right, adorable. You guys are so sweet. Oh my God, so many names. You guys are wonderful. Christine and Robin, Roberta, Dawn, June, Julie, Lori, Lauren. Oh my God, I'm glad I got those straight because, you know, my mind tonight. All right, Roberta. Oh my gosh, you guys are so sweet. So many people. Terry, Gabriella, Robin, more Lori, Jen, Sherry, Krista, Cindy, Melissa. Thank you guys all. Thank you. Jillian, Roberta, again, Joanne, Lori. I'm just catching up on comments. Vanessa and Tammy, thank you. Thank you, Joanne. What kind of glue are you using? This is the UltraBond liquid adhesive. It's from our iCraft line. You can find it on the ThermOWeb website. Oh, and thank you, Candy, and thank you, Timothy. Robin's going to totally make this. I hope you do. I really hope you do. It's a lot of really fun elements. I promise you guys. Yeah, especially too, who's not gonna love to like pull this out of an envelope and get these little pops of texture and shine from our foils and our flocks? I love it. And I love when you can combine both of them to make some really fun cards and have some extra fun by putting a fun sentiment on the inside too. If you can't fit it on the outside, it does just fine on the inside. Sometimes we forget about putting them on the inside because we're so focused on creating that outside element. So, all right, you guys. Well, thank you all so much for being here tonight. I'll make sure after tonight's live, we're going to go ahead. We're going to get this uploaded to our YouTube channel in a couple days. So it'll be there for a replay for you to watch. Also, just thank you for your patience with me tonight. Like I said, I am battling a cold at the moment, so I appreciate all you guys being so kind. Just while I take my extra breaks to grab some water, and I know I sound a little extra nasally, so I appreciate all of you guys. I will be back soon with another Facebook Live. I'm not going to tell you when, but like I said, we do have our Deco foil release coming up very soon. So just be on the lookout for that. And then don't forget, if you guys are planning on getting any shopping done on the ThermOWeb website, and if you have not yet subscribed to the ThermOWeb newsletter, go on to thermoweb.com, and then a prompt should pull up where you guys are able to sign up for our newsletter. And if you sign up, you get 10% off your very first order. So if you haven't placed an order yet, go ahead, make sure you sign up for that newsletter. Even if you have placed an order, make sure that you get on that newsletter list, because if you ever miss me posting in the group that I'm going live, everyone over at ThermOWeb does such a great job sending out email reminders that we're going live. So it's another great way to stay in the loop of all things that are going on in the fan club, things that are going on with our new releases on both our fabric and our paper side. So it's a great place to be. So make sure you sign up for that newsletter if you haven't yet. So thank you guys all so much. Oh, make it a hot toddy. That sounds lovely. I'd love to receive this in the mail. So cute. You, Tana. Oh, thank you. So sweet. That's so sweet. Thank you, Dawn. All right, you guys. Well, thank you all so very much for being here. If you complimented or said anything about this card that I didn't say your name and thank you, please know I thank every single one of you for watching. You guys make these lives so much fun. I'm so glad that we could sit here and craft tonight for our very first Facebook Live of the year. Once again, my name is Justin Adkins. I am part of the paper education team and one of the group moderators in our ThermOWeb craft room group. So thank you guys so much for being here. Like I said, I will be back soon with another Facebook Live with some extra special new releases. But until then, stay crafty, and we look forward to seeing you guys on the next live. Have a wonderful rest of your night. Bye-bye.